Okay, well, I'm grateful for all of you that are here today on a Friday. I don't know where everyone else is, but good morning.
That's not we're here, as long as we're here, right? Yeah, so you saying that about, you're grateful that, they're mostly nice people out there. Jim Rohn talks about that. He says, there are really about 8 or 9 mean people out there. The problem is they move around a lot. Right? So you get the opportunity to interact with them quite a bit. Dylan, you would relate to this because you're going to be a proud papa in July. Do we know a date yet?
It's like the middle to end. It's like
Middle to end.
20th, 21st, something like that.
Okay, very cool.
Who knows?
Yeah, very exciting. Well, when my former wife and I had our 2 girls, they're very close in age, about 18 months apart. And it's one morning, I don't know if it was a Saturday or whatever, it doesn't matter, but I'm watching my she was probably about 2.5-year-old daughter, my oldest daughter, and then her younger sister, who's 18 months younger, in her little carrier in front of the television watching the Disney Channel. And what you find is that, things that you don't pay attention to when you're not a parent, you start to pay attention to when you are a parent. And I really started to pay attention to what was going on the Disney Channel and that particular show that they were watching. And I don't remember what the show was. All I remember, Doctor, is that the kids were being very disrespectful to the adults, and they were being very mean and nasty to each other. Very just disrespectful. The whole thing was very, it was not what I wanted my girls to see or to learn that was acceptable. And I looked at that and I decided at that moment, I said, we're not doing this anymore. And I went to my former wife and I said, we're getting rid of cable TV. And she said, okay, because she wasn't really a fan of TV anyway. I mean, she grew up in South Korea, did not have a TV. They didn't do any of that sort of thing because there wasn't the money for it. But she said, that's fine. So we did. We got rid of TV. Now, Jackson, we had a TV in the house, but at that point, I think we had 4 TVs in the house. We got rid of all the TVs except for one. And it's not that we didn't watch TV, in other words, that box, but what we did is we decided what we're going to watch, and we dialed that in as opposed to just letting whatever was on stream through. So in other words, we got rid of cable, but then if we wanted to watch something, we'd have a DVD, right? We would put that in and we would watch that particular thing. Over the years, I've told people that, and they said, well, so your kids didn't watch TV growing up? Nope. Well, yeah, but that means they didn't get to, see the world. And aren't they a little bit naive and, aren't exposed to what's going on? Well, yes and no. I mean, I hope they're naive relative to all the crap that you can see on TV, the rape, the war, the famine, the murder, all that, the politics, all that stuff. My kids aren't stupid, right? They're very well adjusted. But it's so interesting that we think that we have to be in front of a TV to somehow be socialized. If that's the way you're going to get socialized, that's a problem. And I think that's one of the reasons you see what's going on in today's world, because most kids in the, what's the most recent gen? Is it Z? Is it, whatever it is, Z, X, Y, Z, double Z, whatever it is, right? They're raised on electronics, and that's their experience. And I just decided, I said, we're not going to do that. But I applied it to us as well, to my former wife and to me. We just decided, well, we're not going to do that. I used to get up in the morning and I would watch, the news, and then I grabbed the newspaper and I would read the newspaper over breakfast. And the headlines were always what?
Negative.
Always negative. The headlines were never one great story after another, how people were changing other people's lives in a positive way. It was always how mean and nasty people were changing people's lives in a very mean and nasty way. I just decided to get away from all of that. So, Jim Rohn talks about this, and he talks about, be the sentinel or the guardian at the gate of your mind. And I asked the question of you, are you doing that? Are you taking on that role? You've heard the phrase, garbage in, garbage what? Garbage out. What you put into your brain is what's going to come out. Here's a question for you. When did today start? When did it start for you?
They started last night for me.
Yeah, I could have started last night.
That's the answer. I just want you to think about that. Most people get up and their day starts for them when the alarm clock does what?
Rings.
Yeah, when it goes off. And actually, it's not when the alarm clock goes off, it's after they've snoozed a few times and then they get up. That's when it starts for them. But it's for me, and then for Ruby, it started when? Last night. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean it started last night?
We get to bed. You prepare yourself to bed.
Mhm. Yeah, the time that you get to bed, the way in which you get to bed.
It's your prepare for your day before your day starts.
Yeah.
It's like last night, prepared for what's to come today.
What's gonna come today. So I'll give you an example. Last night, I made certain that everything that I was going to wear was in order. It was all ready to go. I looked at my schedule. Okay, these are the things that I have to do. Mentally prepared myself. Right? Then I made certain that before I went to bed, I either read, watched, or listened to something that allowed me to turn on things as I was sleeping that were positive, that were inspirational, that weren't negative, that weren't mean, that weren't nasty. I remember years ago when I was in college, and I don't know about you, how many of you, when you were in school, studied well in advance of the exam or crammed for it the night before? Which approach did you take? Were you preparers or crammers? Yeah, that was me as well. I would, Jackson, I would know for weeks the test was coming up, and it was literally the night before when I decided to do something. And Dylan, for me, it was difficult. I would wait until I knew that I should have started much earlier, but even on that day, I should have started earlier in the day, right? Maybe even in the morning, if not worst case scenario, the afternoon. I would push it until 8 o'clock at night until there was like absolute panic, like I better get this started because there's an exam in the morning. So I would start studying at 8 o'clock, and I would sometimes study until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And what was interesting is in that period of time, that short burst of time spent on studying Nirvana, I would go to sleep, and for those few hours that I would sleep before the exam at 9 or 10 or wherever it was going to be given, I would wake up in the morning and realize that what I was dreaming was what I had been studying. And it was such an aha for me as an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old that it dawned on me at that age that whatever I was focused on before I went to bed is what my mind had a tendency to focus on all night. Because I would wake up in the morning and I would realize I was dreaming that econ test. Yeah. Or that American history test. There is no yawning in Morning Ascent. If Jackson, if you see or hear anything like that, you have permission. Yeah. But I realized that I was dreaming what I was studying. So I would wake up and realize that, oh my heck, I continued to study and work on and work out all those concepts while I was sleeping. I was multitasking. I mean, I'm a great sleeper, but apparently I'm a great dreamer because I was working on the test while I was sleeping. It didn't dawn on me at that age. It really didn't dawn on me until about 15 years ago of how important that is. I thought, well, that's great for school, but it's not just great for school, it's great for life. Because how many of you would like to wake up positive, energetic, powerful, optimistic, right? Well, then make certain you're very careful about what you put into your brain before you go to sleep. What you read, what you watch, what you listen to. Those things begin to set the trajectory of your mind for that entire night and set the tone for the way you feel the next morning when you get up. So when I ask the question, when did this morning begin? The answer should be for you, it started last night. I call it bookending. It's called bookending. You bookend your day. I like to, when I go to bed, make sure I read something, watch something, or listen to something that is inspiring. And it's so funny that you say this because you said, I love it. We live in an age, an era where there's technology where we can watch and listen to anybody and hear about their stories. I'm doing that this morning, listen to Tony Robbins. In fact, I sent you the video. We may or may not get a chance to get to it. Yeah. But it's so interesting. I can listen to a Jim Rohn, a Les Brown, a Brian Tracy, a John C. Maxwell, a Tony Robbins. I can listen to any of these people and listen to their stories, their challenges, and the solutions that they came up with in order to be successful. But it's simply a choice. Now, do you think that the average person is even consciously aware of this process and is mindful of doing this? And the answer is what? No. And that's why the average person wakes up with the mindset that they wake up with, which do you think it's powerful, or do you think it's full of despair and anxiety? Absolutely. If you doubt that, just look at what's happening in the world today. And you take a look at what the average real estate agent makes. You think people who are optimistic and powerful and believe in themselves and know there's great opportunity out there are selling at best between 2 and 3 homes a year? And the answer is what? No. Because they're not mindful of this. They're not taking control. What they do is they plug into the system out there, and whatever the system decides that they're going to get, that's what they get. It's like the mama bird and the baby birds. Those baby birds don't get to determine what mama bird regurgitates. And so many people are like baby birds. They just wait for mama bird to just spew whatever it's going to spew. And it's no wonder that people have the attitudes that they have about life and about who they are and what they're capable of. What was that? Was that God?
That was.
I thought it was God's voice.
Yeah, that's
It's good. Yeah, right. Tony would believe that. Yeah. So you're right. So, how much time do we have?
We have,
Do we?
yeah. if you want
So
to-
I just want you to watch this, because he's talking about specifically about mindset and being powerful and believing in yourself and what you can do in order to be that person. Because it's not just, hey, I'm going to believe that I'm powerful. It's like there's a process. There are things that you can do. So it's the reason I introduced you to the idea of book ending. But I want you to listen to what he talks about here in some of these concepts, because they actually work and they are powerful. And if you'll do them consistently, they'll revolutionize your life, because they'll revolutionize your experience on a daily basis. It'll cause you to do things that are different, to behave in ways the average person doesn't. And if you behave in ways that the average person doesn't, then it means you're not going to live an average what? An average life. You haven't signed up for that. So let's watch this, and then we can finish it up with the affirmations. Have a discussion about whatever you observed there and what you liked, maybe what you didn't like.
On.
It's coming up.
Always have identity for ourselves, a way of defining ourselves. And human beings don't usually stray from that. So you consider yourself to be a conservative person or a shy person. I know the way you move to some extent. I know the facial expressions, the gestures, the way you use your body. And it's all consistent with that human beings, our strongest drive is the need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. If your self-definition is I'm in a situation where I'm kind of almost used as shy. And you're going to find a way to get to a place where you kind of counter that.
Right.
That's the thing you can do to change your experience would be to create a new little thing, a simple thing like erase. Maybe I'm shy, go erase. That's a BS story, a BS meaning belief system. It's just a story. And if you tell yourself the story long enough, you start to believe it. Once you believe that, you quit calling yourself shy. You believe it, which I have always been shy. Until this moment, do something that's completely outside when you normally do something that's the sign. Who's the most playful, passionate, outrageous, fun working maybe like them for 2 or 3 days? Just put yourself in it like that. It'll be shocking, it'll be weird, it'll be different, it's uncomfortable. But after a while, you get very forced. It's like you get a nice haircut and then you get changed in the way you look. You won't compliment you. You get some compliments, and those compliments will you want to use those other parts of yourself. We all want to get the change the way we feel. That's what I spent my life showing people how to do. But most people know is emotion is created by motion. The way you move determines the way you feel. Different muscles in your face. For most people, this is the largest area of unemployment in the country. People face the same way, they feel the same emotions over and over and over again. So what I'm saying is I have this deal with myself. Every day, I said, well, you gotta have 10 minutes for yourself. You don't have 10 minutes for yourself, you don't have a life. I'm not going to hope I feel good. I just got back out of 6 countries in 12 days. I was in India 2 days ago. Wow. I woke up here and like feeling like somebody ran me over the truck. This process, it's 10 minutes. This massive change in my breathing, so it rapidly changes the way I feel. And then we do this 3-step process. First, I do 3 minutes of gratitude. I think of 3 things I'm really grateful for. And I'm so helping you that feeling. And the reason is, when you're grateful, you can't be worried. You can't be fearful. When you're grateful, you can't be angry. And anger and fear are what screw people up most in their relationships, their life, and their business. So I wonder myself. I'm saying to you that most people want to be happy, but their habit is to be worried or pissed off, or frustrated or stressed. And so they've got a highway to stress and they got a dirt road to happiness. So I can wire myself. Highways gratitude, which changes all your emotions. And then I do 3-minute process of kind of a prayer for my family and friends. And then I do a 3-minute process of the top 3 things I want to accomplish. I see it is done. And I feel I'm done in 10 minutes. Sometimes I go 20. When I deal with 10, so there's no excuse not to do it. most people have a belief about what their real potential is, no matter what you tell them. And that affects how much action they take. And of course, that affects the result, and then ironically, that result reinforces their belief. And then their belief affects it. So give me an example. Let's say a person has unlimited potential, we all agree, but they take little action, little results. Why? Because they have to start with a problem with their belief. They don't believe it's really going to happen for me. Maybe for Frank Currens, who's got cool hair and stuff, or maybe it's for you because you're so driven, but it's not me. Maybe Tony Robbins is going to be the great guy with big team. What would I thought? That's it. Big on this maybe. But what happens is, if you believe that there's very little potential, how much action you got to take? Nothing, little. And when you take little potential and little action, what kind of results do you get? Lousy little results. When you get little results, what does that do to your belief? You go, see, I told you this was a waste of time, told you this wouldn't work. And then what? But you have even less potential, you take even less, and even worse results, and your belief is even weaker. And that sucker feeds on itself until you are in a downward spiral.
Poisonous.
It's poisonous and it's self-fulfilling. Well, what's something can happen and come along and fill you with a sense of absolute certainty, not like I believe, but mean, well, you know. And you got this case, mine as well. We knew because we had to. Because we burned the boats, there was no other option. We had to find a way. We weren't going to live that way. We all did it in different ways and for different reasons, but the essence that was it. If you get yourself in a state of certainty that this is going to work, I'm going to find a way. If this doesn't work, I will make the way. Then you tap a lot more potential. And when you're certain in your potential, you take massive action. When you take massive action, you really believe in something, you get great results. When you get great results, your brain goes, see, I told you I was this. Told you this thing would work out. It's not even slowing you, it's more potential, take greater action, result. That's how you went from $300 a week to 2,500 in 5 days, to 100,000 in a month, to $1 million in a day, same deal with you. And we get momentum. Some rich get richer and the poor get poor. Some people go out and they go, well, I'm going to take a bunch of action. I'm going to open this product, I'm going to try it. And they'll say, hey, I even did it. But it's like the salesman who goes, knocks on the door, he knocks on the doors, he says, his face because he never believe it's going to work. So it's voice, his body, the execution is so weak. Then if there's somebody people, somebody's going to buy it. You know, when his kids are starving, you're not going to get the result. So the core difference in people is how do you give them certainty when the world isn't giving it to you? You go out and you try in your case, you're 100,000 in debt, and nothing's working. How do you keep yourself going? The way you did it, the way I did it, the way you're doing it, when you're not doing it consciously, is we didn't change our potential that was there. And it wasn't even taking more action. Taking more action when the belief's not going to work, it's not going to change anything. We got results in our head that made us feel certain as if it had already happened. We just focus. Try this for a moment. I'm going to give you a test. Sit up in your chair with some energy. Make sure everybody next to you is in a strong state. If otherwise, adjust their state. Come on, change their physiology. What are they going to do? See if they're ticklish. That might help. Now do this. I want you to look around this room right now and find everything in this room that you can find that is brown. As fast as you can. Look for brown, look for brown, look for brown, look for brown. Look around you, look for brown, look for brown, look for brown. Okay, close your eyes. I'm going to give you a test. With your eyes closed now, shout out loud everything you saw that was red. If you see a lot more brown right now than red, say yes. Open your eyes, look for red now. I want you to really look for red. Look for red, look for red, look for red. Anything you find that's red, look for red. All around you, look for red. Raise your hand if you found more red this time and say aye. Why did you find more red this time? Because seek and you shall. That's right. Whatever you focus on, you're going to find it. In fact, let me tell you something. You'll even find it when it's not there. How many saw burgundy called it red just so you could have more things you counted? Come on. See, whatever you're looking for, you're going to find. So if you want to change your life, my friends, you got to change your physiology and you got to change your focus. By the way, how fast can you change that stuff? How fast, my friends? How fast? It's quick. In a heartbeat, once you rechange your conditioning, that's all you got to do. You do it fast. You do it in question or two. Right now, answer this question in your mind and be honest. What in your life today, if you wanted to be, could you feel proud about right now? If you wanted to feel proud, you didn't feel like I shouldn't be proud. If you wanted to feel proud, what could you be proud of in your life today? Your children, your health, your body. Is there a problem you faced? Instead of running from it, you finally stepped up and handled it. You feel proud of your life today. If you wanted to feel proud. How many can think of something? And when you think about this thing you're proud of, what about that makes you feel proud? What do you focus on that makes you feel proud? How do you breathe when you really start to feel proud? What kind of look on your face starts to happen when you let yourself feel proud? Yeah. That's a feeling. Think of another area of life. Think of an area of life that you're grateful for. Or, well, I'm not grateful. If you wanted to be grateful, what's an area you could feel grateful for? You could feel grateful for if you really wanted to feel grateful. How many can think of something you can feel grateful for? Let me see your hand. And what about that are you grateful for? What do you focus on that makes you feel grateful? How does it feel when you're really, truly feeling filled with gratitude? Here's one. If you wanted to be excited about your life right now, and you're willing to be excited, you're willing to buck everybody else's trend, what could you feel excited about in your life if you wanted to feel excited? What could you get excited about if you really focused on it and you really took it in? You were in a negative place. What could you get excited about if you wanted to be excited in your life? What could you get excited about? How many of you can think of something you feel excited about right now? Raise your hand. Let me see your hand. Say aye.
Aye.
When you're really excited about it, what about that excites you? Or when you're really excited, how do you feel? What do you speak? What's your life like? By the way, when you're excited, does it tend to touch other people? Yes or no? Absolutely. By the way, do people have a tendency, but who feels different right now than just even a couple moments ago? Raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Why? Because focus is controlled by questions. If you ask a different question continuously, not once, continuously, you will get a different answer. If you ask a lousy question, you get a lousy answer and a lousy state. Somebody said, why does this always happen to me? It doesn't always happen to you, but the brain's like a computer. Ask it a question, you'll have to come up with an answer. Because you deserve it, you idiot. Someone will say, how come I can never lose weight? You can't lose weight, but you keep saying, how come I can't lose weight? You gotta come to the answer. Goes, you're big. Lousy questions, great what? Lousy answers. Ask a better question, get a better answer. Now, here's what I want you to get. I want you to get that you can change your state. How fast, guys? How fast? And if you get the habit of doing it, you'll have a different life. Emotion is created by motion. If you want to change the way you feel, you ever try to do it in your head? Your brain goes, BS, you're not happy. But if you change the way you move your body radically enough, your voice, your face, your movement, your biochemistry changes. It's not a pump up. It's a true biochemical change. So what I'd like you to do in your chair, create more energy than you had when you're standing. That means you got to wake up your row. Whatever you got to do, use your voice, use your body. Go, wake them up, wake them up. Let's go. That's cool.
Oh. Oh, it's commercials.
No, I-
Oh, I have to watch it too. Thank you.
It's like one commercial. So that's it. Now don't let it go. So everybody share. Show people beside you what a peak state looks like by your example. Just show them. If you find your passion, you're gonna have the tremendous energy, a sustainable energy. But momentum requires you always do the next thing to keep the momentum going. The reason you get yourself in a passionate place is so that you change your life, and the only thing that changes your life is making a decision. So while you're in this passionate state, that's where you make decisions. You don't make decisions when you're like, oh, no, what do you think? All right, let's decide. If you make a decision in a state without momentum, if you make a decision from a place where there's no passion, you are not going to get momentum. It'll kill momentum. It's decide commit, and resolve. Some of you, in the past, you've gotten momentum, you've gotten passionate, you've even made a decision, but a decision is the first step. Decision is like a war. I gotta do this or that. All right, I'm gonna make myself do this. But commitment is when you now, after you've decided, you commit to do this for the long term, whether it's hard or easy, it doesn't matter. You're doing this. It takes it from this moment and it carries it into the future, even when things are difficult. And the third state is resolve. Resolve means it's done. It's like, it doesn't even if you took action, it's done inside you, so it's done out there. There's no question whatsoever. Then once you decide, the only way the commitment and the energy and the momentum continues is if you take immediate, massive what, my friends? Massive what? Write down in your notes, massive action is the cure-all. Massive action is the cure-all. If you're having a difficult time with something, your relationship isn't where you want it to be, your finances are not where you want to be, your body's not where you want to be, your business is not where you want to be, you need to take massive action. If that doesn't work, try something else. If that doesn't work, try something else. Keep going with massive action and you will find the way because it will give you momentum.
So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'd love to know, what did you think of this video? What clip resonated the most with you? What are you going to immediately apply somehow to your life or your business? Leave some love down in the comments below. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I also want to give a quick shout out to the Ascent artists. Thank you so
Okay, any thoughts? Pretty good stuff, right? Yeah, really good.
much for picking up a copy of my book, Your One Word, and doing the review on your YouTube channel.
So just, I mean, to my earlier point, is just be mindful of what you're putting into your brain. And book it. Start your day with great information, end your day with great information. And if you'll do that, right, and use techniques like this, it does, to Tony's point, it revolutionizes your experience. It changes your reality. And it does it very quickly. To his point, that how quickly can you change your state of mind? Like that. And when you're in a great state of mind, you're going to do great things. And when you do great things, you're going to get great results. And when you do that consistently over time, it compounds and you reap a lot more than you sow. You get back so much more than you put into it. So powerful stuff.
Love it.
Yeah. Thoughts, observations? Okay. Yeah.
No, yeah, I was actually funny. I was thinking about this morning. That's why every time you talk, I'm like thinking about it before. It's like as far as momentum and wanting to have that massive action. He had that little chart. You couldn't really see it, but I kind of heard the wording. So having that potential and to take action, get results. Yep. And then you go into that last category. I think it's belief.
You start with the belief.
Yeah, start with belief, potential, action, results.
Yep, and results. So
And you know what you were talking about this morning is shifting your focus. It's that simple. If you shift your focus, that's where all your focus and attention is going to
where your energy goes.
And that's what actually becomes you and your thoughts.
Yep.
Like if you're focusing on, that's what you're going to get. If you're focusing on the good, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, that's his point, right?
Yeah.
Become who you want to be, become somebody else, become that person you say that you want. So yeah, cool stuff. Yeah.
I really like how he mentioned focus is controlled by questions too, because I've experienced that in my own life.
Yeah.
And I realized like you can either, a lot of people when they complain, it's always like, oh, how did this happen to me? Or you can think of it in a different way and ask yourself a different question.
Yeah. So you think about it, we talk about that all the time in prospecting or in the presentations, whether it's the buyer broker or the listing presentation. We say that a great listing presentation or conversation is nothing but a series of what? Questions. And we ask the questions because we want to make sure that they're focusing on the right things so that we ultimately get to the that's right answer.
I wrote ask the right questions, get the right answer.
That's it. Yeah. It works in every area of life. And in every conversation you have, not just with others, but with yourself.
That's
So yeah.
That's
Yep. All right. Great job. Great job on being here. Let's do this. Closing affirmations. Here we go, doctor.